So you know Jared Freed, the comedian.
Yes, he's great.
So his theory about you cracks me up every
What is
time. He basically says that Hannah was like that scene where she doesn't want to have sex with you, and she tells you, and you're like, okay. So Jared just says like, because you said okay.
The whole world went crazy.
Yes. So he's like, you got this God edit. It's like he's good looking, and he like accepted that she, you know, didn't want to do it with him. And do you feel like it was at that moment when the world actually went wild and they were like, and he's like sweet and accepting and
Yeah, I mean, I remember that week. It was crazy. Like that episode came out, it was mayhem. I feel like that like pushed a lot of things over the top. And I remember like Marie Claire writes like Tyler Cameron,
a feminist,
woke king, all these things. And you know, at first you're like patting yourself on the back, like cool. Like,
do you remember that moment though?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. And like I think at this point in time too, we're doing like New York Central Park runs, and we have like 200 women running with us through Central Park, and we're doing all these amazing things. So like it was like the craziest time ever. And then like, you know, they come at you with a book deal, all these things. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna write a book about? You know.
You ended up writing a book though.
Yeah.
Later.
What the hell am I gonna write a book about? So I sat around, thought about it, and I was like, it's honestly fucked up what people are praising me for. Because what do you want him to do? Be like, fuck it. Well, Jared says this. He's like, what do they think he's gonna be like? Fuck you for not fucking me. Like, exactly. It's like.
But do you remember that moment with her?
Yeah.
Like what you were thinking and what came out of your mouth?
Yeah. I mean, we was, you know, she's like, I want to go to the fantasy suite with you, but I don't want us to have sex. And I was like, cool, let's just hang out. Let's have fun. You know what I mean? Like, and like, it was the best night. Like we had a great time. We connected.
Did you understand at the time why she didn't want to have sex with you?
No, but it just, that was her answer. That's her answer.
But what's your theory?
I think the Luke stuff happened. The Luke stuff did happen the night before me.
Oh, where he got really upset.
Yeah. And so maybe that played into it. But I mean, I don't know.
I don't remember what my theory was at the time, but maybe we didn't know that, what you just said. So I feel like my theory was maybe she was scared.
Yeah.
To like, you know.
I don't know. And like whatever her reasoning is her reasoning, and it's fine, you know.
Yeah.
But to me that was,
you became a feminist icon.
Yeah, but it's just it's I'm like if my boys or my brothers
didn't say that,
like we got problems,
right?
You know what I mean?
Like, but how low are our expectations? Yeah. That what did we? I mean, I could have seen other dudes maybe manipulated, so it's not like I'm mad at you for not having sex with me, but like maybe seeing other dudes be like offended or be like, is it not real what we have? So yeah, your response then, so you agree that was like a pivotal moment.
Yeah. And what's interesting is this sparked so much conversations with my friends, with my agents, which my two best friends are girls. My agents, there's a full woman team. And I was asking about all these things, and then they're like, well, you know, there was like one account called Girls Against Oppression and all that, and they're like, you should follow this. And I was like learning from them. And I remember one day, like, we don't think about this as men at all, but it was like, if men weren't around, what would you do? And it was like the simplest task in the world, like walk in the park, wear whatever I wanted to wear, do all these things. And I'm like, as men, we're fucking this up for a lot of people, you know? And it was a huge eye opener writing that book and having those conversations with everybody about, you know, there's a reason why the bar's so low, because a lot of men out there are just shit. And I hear it now. I hear it today, like, you know, I forgot who it was. I heard someone was like, yeah, I told her to delete her Instagram if we're going to start dating. I'm like, why does that matter? You know, like, why do these, you know?
How did you become such a respectful stand-up dude?
My dad and my mom.
Yeah.
And then I think my two best friends being Molly and Katie, like always like protecting women. You know, I always felt like I had to. And then my dad was always like, you know, I wasn't allowed to have my door closed whenever I had a girl home growing up. My brothers got to do whatever they wanted because they were younger. Because I was the first child, you know, so they try everything on me. But it's just like, you know, never touch women, never disrespectful women. You know, like my dad's like, I'll break your hand, you know. So I was
really?
Yeah.
Tough.
So like, yeah, I had fear of my pops, but also my mom was able to teach me reasons why and respect. And when you have friends like Molly and Katie and they talk you through scenarios and things that have happened to them, and you know, you learn a lot.
So you were never a fuckboy?
Oh, I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a way to be a fuckboy but respectful about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Write a book about that.
As long as we're all on the same page, you know.
Yeah.
As long as we all know what it is, and sometimes you fuck up and expectations aren't the same, but you learn and you got to learn how to communicate it more.
So did you fall in love with Hannah?
Yeah, in the bubble, I think.
What's the being in that?
And I think I fell in love with the allure of falling in love with the Bachelorette too.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. So were you upset when she picked Jed?
Yeah, I was very upset.
You were.
Yeah, I remember walking down. So they put you in a car afterwards, and they just drive you around in circles.
Oh, for you to cry about it.
For you to cry and talk and talk and talk. And eventually, I was like, guys, I'm done. Like, I got nothing else for you. I'm done. Like, let me out of the car. They let me out of the car. The cameraman comes out, and he goes, I've never seen someone like you grow a relationship with these cameramen and like everyone around you because you're with them a lot. And he goes, I've never seen someone conduct themselves the way you did it on this show. Like, you should be so proud of yourself. And that started getting me like choked up. And then my producer, who I got really close with, was like crying. And we were walking down this like beautiful like hotel resort in Greece, like in the mountains on the water. I was like, this is the most amazing thing, and it's over. And I was like, I'm always coming this close in my life, so close to everything, and I just keep missing it. And
you genuinely felt that way.
Yeah, and so I definitely cried a little bit. Went and got a 12-pack of beer, sat in the bathtub for 2 hours, put on some Juice WRLD, and an album called Goodbye and Good Riddance, and cried and got over it.
Stop. And then how long did it take you to kind of get over that? Until you were paparazzi'd hanging out again outside of her house?
Yeah, no, I think, the show happens, and then like you know, I was so cool with everybody still, and Jed and Hannah and everyone. Like, I was just supporting Hannah because I had no.
Oh right, you were like queen.
Yeah, I had no ill will for her. Like, I love that girl. Like, I had so much like respect, and like the way she carried herself and handled it. Like, I want to be her friend.
Like, you weren't angry.
No, not at all. Like, and like at the point in time, I thought Jed was great too. At
that point in time is a key word.
Yeah. And even when the shit started to unravel, I was like, Jed, just be a man, face it. Like, go talk to her through it, and he wouldn't do it. And so, yeah.
So when did that reconciliation happen with you and Hannah?
I think it was right before I was heading out for the final rose, because I was in the Keys doing my like family lobster trip every year.
Yeah.
And she like calls me, and we talk for like 2 hours on my drive back. And she's like, they want me to ask you out.
Who's they?
Things. The producers, like, I want to too, and kind of talked about it all, and talked about, just catching up. The girl can talk.
Yeah.
So, it was probably an hour and a half of her talking and a half an hour of me talking,
Did you feel like you would give it another go?
Yeah. I thought, I for sure thought I would, and, wanted to, and we've tried a couple times,
Yeah. And now she's getting married,
which is awesome.
Yeah. And that's like a whole story. But yeah, definitely bad choice on her part.
No, it all worked out.